So you want to learn a new skill? Me too. But you have a master's degree in procrastination? Me too. So why don't we together pretend that we found this motivation to start learning a new skill and just throw ourselves in there. And don't worry, this is not a 5-minute ad for Skillshare. So I've been wanting to learn a lot of new skills recently, and even though I might not master Italian anytime soon, there's still hope for the camera-related ones. But learning is hard work, and especially self-teaching is really hard work. I mean, if it was easy, everyone would know how to play the sax by the age of 4. But we just gotta push on somehow, and we just gotta keep finding that initiative. Because that's all you really need, the initiative, to get past that procrastination that keeps holding us back from doing basically everything. And our initiative here in Framehack Studio is going to be this YouTube series called The Learning Process. With these videos, we're going to take you along on our learning journey as we sharpen or acquire new skills. And we hope that you might learn something as well, or at least find some initiative. Now let's just pretend that we found some initiative to start learning something. Now, how are we going to do this optimally? Well, I've put down 5 steps that I will be following myself. So the first step in the learning process is to have an objective, a goal. It has to be something doable, something you know when you've reached. So don't start off big with something, I want to learn photography, or I want to learn how to code, or I want to learn Italian. Because if you start out like that, the goal is going to become unfathomable. Like, when have you reached these goals? It's fine to have something like this as your headline for your objective, but start small. If you want to learn photography, for example, set a goal that's doable. So for example, say, I want to be able to take a photo like this. Well, guess I'll just need to set out and find out what needs to be done before I can achieve this. And then when you arrive at something that kind of looks like this, then I guess you should have learned a lot about photography or light setup and whatever that needs to be done before you can achieve something like this. And then you just keep going. Maybe you just break down your objective into a to-do list and then wing them off when you've achieved it. Now, before you throw yourself into this hunt for an objective, we need to do a little self-reflection and look at how we learn best. Now, I'm not going to get in on all the different types of learning because that's a completely different talk, but you should know how you learn best. Is it by reading, or is it by observing, or under pressure? Or is it, as it very often is in the creative field, by doing? Ah yes, the famous learn by doing. Because you can learn so much from a YouTube video or from a book, but knowing the theory is very different from putting it into your own hands. But say, what should I put my hands into if I don't know where to start? Well, I actually answered this earlier. Copy. You really will learn a lot by copying other people's work. Like, if you want to take photos like this, go take photos like this. If you want to make videos like this, then go make videos like this. You really can and will learn a lot by copying other people's work. Just remember to credit them. Hi, yeah, I'm just gonna jump in here real quick. So replicating people's ideas is a really good way to get started and improve your skills, but to develop your own creativity and style, you have to go outside of this at some point. So replicate, yes, but then go find your style. Don't steal. Okay, back to the video. Bye. Step 3 is one of the most important steps in the learning process. Make mistakes and keep going. Now, you're probably not going to succeed at first. And this is when most people give up in the learning process. But this is when it becomes really important that you keep finding that motivation and that initiative to keep learning and keep practicing. And you're going to make mistakes along the way. Lots of them. But I cannot clarify enough how important it is to make these mistakes. Making mistakes is a really important part of the learning process. But just being able to see your own mistakes and spot what needs improvement is proof that you've learned enough to do so. Now, step 4 is something that I keep forgetting myself, and that is to reflect and compare along the way. So a lot of people forget to stop along the way in the learning process and compare the work that they have done and the work that they're doing now. For example, this is one of my first portraits that I took, and this is what I'm doing now. I've been too busy criticizing my current work that I hadn't looked at how far I'd come with my skills. So do yourself a favor and compare your own work, and then feel good about yourself for a few minutes. And the last step is to ask for help. Some people fear that they might look stupid or weak if they ask for help, whether this is asking for directions or help to understand something, but it really doesn't. It's quite the opposite, actually. Without getting too philosophical, we all need help getting through life. So we should just stop and ask for it. Knowing someone who knows more about a subject or a skill than you do is such a reward, and you should use that. But you should also ask them nicely. If you surround yourself with smart people, there's a really big chance that you'll become one of them. So find people that you share interests with, and then just Skillshare with them. This is still not an ad for Skillshare. So there you have it. Those are the 5 steps that I'm going to be following myself. They don't just apply to photography, that's just my chosen skill. But you can apply them to any kind of skill learning. But keep these steps in mind as we continue this series, The Learning Process, on our YouTube channel. We hope that we can help you find an objective or at least answer all of your questions. And like I said earlier, self-teaching is hard work. At some point you're going to hit rock bottom, because you've dug yourself into too much information that makes no sense to you. But this is when you gotta keep going. So we hope you want to tag along, and remember to like and subscribe if you want to join our learning process, and we'll see you there.